I'm moving forward, and I remember March 2018 rolls around, and he reaches out to me. Guy number 2 reaches out to me. He said, hey, how are you? And I said, I'm fine. How are you? And I remember he goes on to say something about how he's overall all right, something of that nature, but he's in the ER at that time. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, are you okay? Because I'm wondering, why are you contacting me now? Why are you in the ER if you're like in an urgent state? And he and I were no longer together, and I definitely wasn't his wife. So I'm thinking, where in the world is that coming from? So he, at some point in the conversation, I go on to say, well, if you're not going to contact me to apologize for what you did and the trouble and pain you caused me, then I don't want to talk to you ever again. And I remember at one point he said, well, maybe it was a mistake for me to contact you. And I just said, if you're not ready to apologize for your behavior, acknowledge what you did was wrong, then I don't want to talk to you anymore. So then he proceeded to go ahead and apologize for his behavior, and we reconnected. I remember when we reconnected and we went back to our original bookstore place where we met, and we had that first kiss again. And I remember how, I don't know what it was, his nose was running or something, and then it just felt unsavory at that particular time. But things picked up again in that year. It seemed like it was a little bit better than what we had in 2017, including the fact that I forgot he had a loss of a former fiance years before he met me. She died tragically in a car crash caused by a drunk driver. And he found out in 2017 from the mother of this young lady. And this crash had been some years before I met him. And the mother of this young lady said that she was with child at that time. So I remember he was going through a very hard time in 2017, at which point when I think back, I should have just allowed myself to be friends with him and nothing more, because if you're going through all of that, you've lost what I guess at that time he thought was the love of his life some years prior, and then he finds out in 2017 from what would have been his mother-in-law that the woman was with child, then he's devastated. He's heartbroken. So I should have just let it stay us being friends. But me being anxious and whatnot, I did not do that. Okay, so fast forwarding to this time, he seemed still to have some depression there regarding that, but it wasn't as bad as it was in 2017, which I feel like most of 2017, I was carrying the relationship. So then in August of that year, we got back together in March 2018. In August of that year, sitting next to me in his car, he proposed to me again. And I forgot to mention that earlier in our relationship, he proposed, and I told him no. I think it was 2 months in or 3 months into our relationship. And I said, no, this is too fast, so that doesn't feel right. So now this is the 3rd time this man has proposed to me, right? And he has a new ring, and I'm so excited and over the moon. And I remember I'm taking a picture of my hand and sending it to family members saying, hey, I'm engaged. And people saying congratulations. And I remember one classmate in my speech pathology program saying something along the lines of, girl, I wouldn't have let him back in after he broke your heart. I think she said that when we first got back together, but then I had not thought about it really. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna give him another chance. That's what I did. So we got engaged again. This time we said we're gonna go ahead and get married in that particular year of 2018. So we did get married. And actually, I ended up moving in with him and his mother 2 months before the wedding. And because we were engaging sexually and I felt very guilty about it, I expressed to him how much that I wanted to be married, to be able to engage in sexual activity. And then ultimately one day we decided to go and elope. So that was in October 2018, so I wouldn't feel as guilty. And then the wedding was in December 2018. But I never considered that date in October, I can't even remember the exact date in October that was in 2018, as the official wedding date, even though that was the day of the marriage. So yeah, I didn't consider that the official thing. I only considered the one in December the official thing. But yeah, that was how that went.